Hi, my name is Ariana. For today's video, I'm going to be reacting to He Stole the Only Thing I Loved by what was that? Let's reset. He Stole the Only Thing I Loved by Young Don the Sauce God. I just woke up from a nap. I can't speak for real, so yeah, let's just get into this video. My camera is still acting weird. I don't know why it looks so zoomed in. Like, I do this till I zoom it back in, like, so it don't look zoomed out. Like, it's all the way on the negatives, and it's still saying it's zoomed in, but it's not. Like, I could push this further back, because that's how I film all my videos. Like, that's what I could do, but that's a little bit better. Now it's like not even. I don't really care about the angle that much, to be honest. That's a little better, just a little bit, not that great. You know, that did a little something. I'm bringing back the bonnet. I don't really feel like doing my hair. If you could not tell, it's been like this ever since I took my braids down. I don't really care about having a bonnet on my head all day. It's a bonnet. You're not gonna die from being single in a bonnet, trust. I could really care less about how I look. I mean, naturally though, who's gonna get fully dressed and ready to make a video? That's just not realistic. Like, realistically, if you just woke up and you're like, hey, I want to make a video, why would you take the time to get ready and get dressed, like fully dressed, and then make a video? Like, I took a nap, woke up, I said I'm gonna make a video because I took a nap, and I don't care that I have my bonnet on either. Oh my god, I'm accident. Butterfingers are real. Lord.
Eventually, I decided to go and investigate, Started to climb up the hill, and at the very top of the hill,
why are you walking like that?
Small yellow house. I went up to the front grill, and I started knocking on the metal bars separating me from the inside of the house. I knocked and knocked and knocked, thinking that Kevin was just...
I knocked and knocked and knocked.
I was mad living with you. I couldn't sleep naked.
Oh, yeah?
Hell yeah.
I mean, you could have asked.
What?
What?
I mean, like, I walked into the Foot Locker and then got my size. It's like, well, what's going on? Is get these little slaves to work.
Wow.
But
Get
not
them to
slaves.
Work. Get their little hands to stitch up these shoes. I need some fresh Nikes. What are we doing?
Nothing like crackhead strength. That crackhead immune system. Crack don't kill you.
Nothing will.
Nothing.
I see this part so much in the videos. It don't make me laugh no more.
Do? You got crack in your system. Nigga, you high. Can't do. What the cough gonna do? You cough more.
At
smoke
first,
than
I was laughing
I'm not
hysterically,
rapping
but
on
now it's like I've seen it too many times. But it's promoting their podcast, so hey.
Where you doing? You better bring your ass. We about to talk for 2 hours. Get them Sour Patch Kids, get them sours. I'm cracking jokes. Don got the beat. And I'm about to go beat my meat.
So one summer back in Jamaica, I was about 11 years old. My mom packed me and my little sister up in the car and drove 2.5 hours out to the country to visit my auntie Paulette. We did this almost every year when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed it because I was a city kid. Grew up in Kingston. The country was a very different place for me. In the country, you go to sleep with the front door wide open without worrying that someone was gonna break in. You spent all your time outside because there was always more things to do outside than inside. And when you got hungry, all you had to do was look around and there would be some kind of fruit tree that you could go and pick fresh fruit from. But the thing I like most about the country were the people. People from the country live a simpler life, an honest life. Something about the city just makes people slimy and grimy, It's a cutthroat pace of life. But in the country,
I feel
it's
that.
just good food, good people, and good vibes. So after a long, bumpy drive to the country, my mom finally pulls up in my auntie's driveway at the top of a hill at the end of a long, windy dirt road. It was a big white single-story
A
house
long,
with a
windy
red
dirt
shingled
road.
roof. She had a big front yard with a pumpkin patch, and there was always this dog that would sit in the front yard and stare at you. This was not my
That's a
auntie's
cute
dog.
dog.
Nobody knew where the dog came from. It just came and went as it pleased. Still, my auntie would feed the dog. Why?
And that's why I kept
Because
coming back.
that's just what people from the country do. They're all just good people, you know? Or at least, that's what I thought. But as much as I love going to visit my auntie in the country, I never liked staying there too long. Because, wasn't much there for a kid to do. And at the
I hate
time,
staying
my
in the
auntie didn't
country
have
too.
cable television, so it's not like I could watch the TV shows that I liked. This was also before
Every
Wi-Fi
time I
was a
gotta
commonplace
go, I
thing,
get- I-
so
I really
no
dread it.
internet. And even if there was YouTube, Netflix, none of these things were invented as yet. And worst of all, besides my sister, I ain't have no one my age to play with, you know? So 3 days. That's about how long I would last before I started trying to befriend the dog outside, who I named Fred. Why? Because he looked like a Fred.
Me,
But this
me
summer would
naming
be
something,
different.
You
I
look
was
like
not going to be
you look like a
subjected
George. Like,
to a
what?
week of boredom. But instead, my heart would be broken. And I was going to have my first true taste of betrayal. So one day, I was sitting on the steps at the front of the house, very bored, when I saw another kid my age walking past the front gate. At first, I wasn't going to say anything, but I couldn't let an opportunity like this pass. I ran out to the road and I yelled out to him, "Yo! Hey!" He stopped and turned around. Hey! You live around here?
Yeah,
You live
I live up
around
the hill.
here? Why you
Oh.
so awkward?
Hey, you wanna play a game or something?
Okay, yeah. Let me ask my mom first.
Okay. Can I come?
I guess.
I should probably ask my mom first. Can you wait?
I'm gonna come back. Let me just tell my mom I'm gonna be down here.
Yeah, alright. Okay.
Why is it so awkward?
Off he went.
He's like, yeah.
Grabbed the football that was sitting in the front of the yard and sat on the stairs and waited. Sure enough, eventually, this kid came running down the hill. His name was Kevin, and Kevin was my new friend. And we played all day long. He showed me the different hiking trails around the area. He even ate dinner with us. And at the end of the day, Kevin went back home and I went inside. And for the first time, instead of worrying about how I was gonna pass the time, I worried about the day that I would have to leave my new friend from the country that I would probably never see again. The next day, Kevin came back down to play, but this time he brought his Game Boy SP. I had told him the day before that if he brought his game, we could play video games together. He only had one game, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Of course, he had already beaten it twice over, so I told him that he could borrow one of my games. I mean, this was my new best friend. I opened my little pouch that I kept all of my video game cartridges in. I had like 6 or 7, and I told him that he could borrow any game that he would like, except for my Pokemon Emerald. That was my favorite game at the time, and I was very protective over it. He picked a game, and we started to play. Here we were. 2 boys that barely knew each other, not saying a single word, playing
That's
completely
terrible.
different games, all the while still greatly enjoying each other's company. Do girls have anything like that? I wonder. Eventually, we probably switch back to playing soccer or spend time throwing small rocks at bigger rocks. Who knows? Who cares? We were just boys being boys. The third day wasn't much different from the last. Kevin came down the hill, we played some video games, we played some football, and when the sun started to go down, Kevin had to go home. But this time, Kevin did something new. He asked me for a favor. Like I said, Kevin only had one game,
Oh my
Kirby
god.
and the Amazing Mirror. On the third day, he asked me if he could borrow some of my games overnight. He had never played any of the games I had, and he wanted to try some of them out before I left. At first, I wasn't sure, because
So,
these games were the most valuable things that I had. But he said he would leave his Kirby game as some form of insurance, and I was interested in seeing what this whole Kirby thing was about. I told him he could borrow any 3 games that he would like. He chose Sonic Advance, The Legend of Zelda,
Emerald.
and my Pokemon Emerald. And I ain't gonna lie, man. At first, I was hesitant about lending him my Pokemon game, but I had beaten the game a while ago and I wasn't playing it much. Worst case scenario, he was gonna start over the game, which I was already close to doing anyway. Plus, Kevin was an honest, good country boy. I
Or
mean,
so you thought.
he meant no harm. So, after thinking it over, I let him
Yeah,
borrow
let's go.
all 3 games. I remember
Yo.
going to bed that night and playing Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I'd never heard the name Kirby before this game. I liked Kirby. The next day,
Kirby
just
is
like
a
the 3
good
days
game, though.
before, around 11 a.m., I went and sat outside, waiting on Kevin to come down the hill. 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed.
Bruh,
Before
I
you
was
knew
like,
it was the middle of the
hey,
afternoon.
I need to
Still,
get my game
no
back.
Kevin. Now I was starting to get worried because this dude had my Pokemon Emerald, and I wasn't about to let him borrow it for 2 nights in a row. Eventually, I decided to go and investigate, Started to climb up the hill, and at the very top of the hill was a small yellow house. I went up to the front grill, and I started knocking on the metal bars separating me
Not
from
the
the inside
haunted
of the house.
house.
I knocked and knocked and knocked, thinking that Kevin was just somewhere inside, fully consumed with playing his new games. I mean, could I really blame him? Eventually, the front door to the house opened, and out came an older woman who looked very annoyed. Excuse me, little boy. Can you tell me why you bang on my gate? Oh, I'm sorry. Is Kevin home? Oh, okay. You're Kevin's friend. No, baby. Kevin went back home. Back home? What do you mean? Doesn't he live here? Oh, no, baby. He was just visiting for the week. What? He was just visiting for the week. He left this morning. Him never tell him was leaving. Never tell him was leaving. Never tell him was leaving. Immediately it started to sink in. Kevin was gone, and he took all of my games with him, including my Pokemon.
So I would
had
be
been
mad.
finessed, betrayed, and of course, wanted to be mad. But to be honest, this was the same Pokemon game that I had stolen from this other kid. That was one of the very first stories I told on this channel. So, in a way, I kind of had it coming. And even though I felt like bro did me dirty,
Bro,
he
you
did save me
lost
from being bored
3
out of my mind
games.
for a few days. And he left me a new game that ended up being really fun to play. Moral of the story, be careful who you trust. And remember, appearances can be deceiving. Because the only difference between a saint and a sinner is a good reason.
Yeah, I was so into the what's it called, video. I was like just like thinking the whole time. So you just gonna give this man your games in this particular? Like, let's think about it here. You said you're on vacation. You're leaving the next day. You don't know anything about him. You don't know he lived there. You don't know if he's just like some random boy from somewhere that they don't know who he is. You don't know who this dude is. And you just gonna give him your games? No. I have to watch. I'll be like, yeah, I'll let you borrow my game in my eyesight. Or if we sit next to each other, I'll let you borrow my games, and then I can expect to give them back as I'm watching you. Because I don't know you, and that's like wasted money in a way. So I would never, ever give up my games. Not me, not in this lifetime. But that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Comment down below what I should react to in my next video. And my socials will be in the description box down below. Oh my god. Whew. That nap just did me no justice. I will be studying for my ACT because it is not even next month. It's on the 16th. So I'm gonna be studying very hard. So if I'm not posting consistently, like I'm just posting here and there, just know I'm studying for my ACT, and that's taking priority as of right now because I do want to pass. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say for that disclaimer for like the next couple weeks, and that's it. I already said that. My brain is still tired from that nap. Anyways, don't forget to love yourself, be yourself, and deuces.